Yeah, you seen it right. Your boys for prize picks. Put in $5. Win or lose, you get $50 back. It's free bread, man. Go ahead and get the free bread at Prize Picks, baby. Use code CDotty when you making your account. CDotty. YouTube. What's good? It's your boy CDotty. Today we have the bizarre collar bomb prank robbery. Now, I'll be watching this nigga Zach D film shorts. He made a little short about this, and I was trying to see if they had like a little documentary about it, and they do. I'm like, yeah, I gotta react to it. Now, this shit is insane. I don't even want to spoil it for y'all who don't know. We're about to just go ahead and get into it. It's a little 28-minute long, short doc. They have like an hour or 30-minute long doc, but I'm not watching all that. Let's get straight to the point. When we're at 25,000, get into it.
Speed Unsolved, we discussed the bizarre collar bomb incident. Though some of the culprits in this one have seemingly been identified, the details in this one remain murky.
We sort of toil in murk, don't we?
I would say so. But like I said, we do know some of the main
I never
players.
watched these niggas before, so.
But then we don't, but then we do. I guess you'll have to stick around to find out.
Okay, I'm in.
On August 28th, 2003, a phone call is made during lunchtime rush to Mamma Mia's Pizza.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all should have started off with that right there. I bet you when people seen these two niggas right here, they clicked off the video. Y'all probably lost about 30% of y'all viewers just for starting off with them two niggas.
8th, 2003, a phone call is made during lunchtime rush to Mamma Mia's Pizza, located at 5154 Peach Street. Tony Ditmo, the owner of Mamma Mia's, takes an order for 2 large sausage and pepperoni pizzas.
I mean, nah, this is considered crime Dotty. I just thought about that because this is a crime at the end of the day. But these niggas have already been sentenced. But yeah, I don't know when this took place, but I mean, nah, they just said it took place to what, 2003, right? And they got the address and all. It's 2003, right? Yep, 2003. Let's go.
Takes an order for 2 large sausage and pepperoni pizzas.
Oh.
Tony cannot understand the customer telling him the address. So
nigga, wait. You can order
Ditmo, the owner,
2 large sausages with a pizza? Pause. Nigga, what type of pizza place sells sausages, my nigga?
Of Mamma Mia's takes
an
order for 2 large sausage and
pepperoni
pizza.
Pause. I would have said, nigga, pause. You're not getting your order.
The customer telling him the
ass
address.
Order.
So he hands the phone over to his employee, Brian Wells.
That freaky ass order
is about 5 feet 3 inches, age 46.
This nigga is 5'3" at 46. Nigga, I would whoop your little ass. The fuck you think you are, robbing banks, nigga? I will whoop your little ass.
And balding on top. Wells takes down the address, 8631 Peach Street, and heads out south on Peach Street. For what
wait. My bad. Wait.
Tony cannot understand the customer telling him the address, so he hands the phone over to his employee, Brian Wells. Wells is about 5 feet 3 inches, age 46, and bald.
My bad, Brian. I thought you was one of the robbers. You might not be.
On top.
My bad.
Wells takes down the address, 8631 Peach Street, and heads out south on Peach Street for what seems to be an ordinary delivery. And yet, roughly 2 hours later, Brian Wells is on live TV for robbing a bank. He is handcuffed and surrounded by state troopers in the parking lot of Eyeglass World with a bomb strapped to his neck. Wells tells the police that the bomb was fastened to him by a group of black men who ordered him to rob a bank. After about 30 minutes of gently trying to communicate his plight.
Black man? That's gotta be racist. I mean, probably not. It's probably not. But like, that's how you describe them, bro? Just a group of black men? You can't say, nah, they black men, bro. You right, bro. Hold on, bro. Because I don't want to spoil it. But
quote, why is it nobody's trying to come get this thing off me? I
don't know what happened, but he might, because I only seen like a 15-second short. This nigga might be in it. I don't know for sure though. He might be in on it, but it's like, if that's how he got in the mix of it, of his boss not understanding, which is good cap. It's good cap if he is part in on it. But he don't understand what he's saying, so he handed the phone over. He probably knew he was going to do that if he is in on him, but we'll find out.
Time. It's gonna go off. I'm not lying. Did you call my boss? have a says to the police, quote, "Why is it nobody's trying to come get this thing off me? I don't have a lot of time. It's gonna go off. I'm not lying. Did you call my boss?" End quote. At about 3:18 p.m., the caller starts emitting a loud and rapid beeping noise, and then the bomb detonates and Wells falls backwards, slowly dying while medics and police.
What the fuck? This shit blew up? There's no way he's in on it. That's why I said don't take my word for it. I don't know shit.
Police are baffled in the background. Wells dies on the pavement.
This is before body cam.
2 minutes later, the bomb squad finally arrives.
You know, this is why I take issue anytime anyone, some trivial thing goes wrong in their day and they say,
That's true.
FML, bro. Look what happened to this man in 2 hours.
Yeah.
He woke up that day just going to sling some za. You know?
Yeah. He was a Zaw slinger.
Yeah.
And he got a little bit more than he thought he was going to get out of
One
it.
false move, suddenly his
I thought he was a pizza delivery.
life is in tatters. That's horrible. We take so much for granted.
Hey, probably he slings za on the side, but he didn't die slinging za. He died delivering in a fucking pizza, nigga. What is these niggas talking about? Am I tripping? If I'm tripping, let me know.
You take so much for granted.
Let's,
You're right.
let's
you're right,
appreciate each day.
I don't even want to see these
Right?
cornballs right now.
Right?
They ruined the
Have
video.
only been known to be used by Colombian drug lords in
Right?
They ruined the video,
Collar
bro.
bombs have only been known to be used by Colombian drug lords in turf wars, making the use of one in Erie, Pennsylvania, especially strange. Even more odd, police found several pages of instructions telling Wells how to rob the bank and remove his explosive collar. The notes were addressed to the, quote, bomb hostage, end quote. The instructions were handwritten with illustrations. It appeared that Wells was telling the truth. He was sent on a hunt, and his reward was his life. This case seemed pretty cut and dry, but as more details arose, it appeared
Did them niggas even get any money out of it? And my bad, Brian, bro. RP Brian. I thought when they were showing you that you did the shit, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Usually they showed the victim face, but they blurred you out. Cause I thought they were gonna at least eventually show you for doing it, but my bad, my nigga, for blitzing you. Cause I ain't gonna lie, nigga, you did get blitzed early. You got blitzed early.
that Wells may not have entirely been a victim.
Like I said,
Nigga, he got blown the fuck up.
things aren't exactly what they seem in this case. Obviously, this man appears to be a victim, but
Appearances can be deceiving.
profound stuff.
This-
All right, let's move on.
To
This nigga
elucidate this
shot.
possibility further, let's look into Wells. Wells' landlady and neighbor Linda Payne states that Wells was an ordinary Erie, Pennsylvania resident. Linda said, quote, he liked to help people. He used to get up, get his breakfast at McDonald's or somewhere, and a newspaper, come home and hang out until it was
McDonald's breakfast is probably the only thing you should be getting from McDonald's, my nigga. If you're not getting a McGriddle, I never had a McMuffin, but people be saying that shit's be busting, but I never ate that. If you're not getting the hot cakes, possibly the eggs, what else they got? And basically, if you're not getting a breakfast, bro, you're tripping. If you over there, if you're still getting lunch from McDonald's, bro, you do not care about your body.
time to go to work.
Like, you
He was
just
very
don't.
shy. He took the hubcaps
Like, if you
off of
normally
his
getting
car because they were
McDonald's-
too shiny. Works at McDonald's or somewhere, and a newspaper. Come home and hang out until it was time to go to work. He was very shy. He took the hubcaps off of his car because they were too shiny. He was a perfect tenant. End quote. At the age of 46,
The fuck does that
Wells
have to
lived
do?
alone with 3 cats. He was a dedicated employee at Mamma Mia's Pizzeria.
Mamma
In
mia.
the 10 years of his employment there, he had only called in late for work once, due to the death of one of his cats. Admittedly,
10 years, called in late once. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Niggas, there's no way, bro. 10 years, called in late once. Do you know how long that is? You're capping. Like, there's no way he never missed a day of work, never had to call off work, never been late, other than a cat dying. There's
none of
no
this
way.
seems to scream high-profile bank thief.
That's
Let's
crazy.
jump into the timeline. The phone call to the pizzeria was made around 1:47 p.m.
At a
Wells
pizza
agreed
shop?
to take the delivery, even though it was the end of his shift. Wells would have arrived at 8631 Peach Street at about 2 p.m. During investigation, it was found that the delivery location was not a home, but a TV transmission tower site in a wooded area off of Peach Street. It was only reachable by a dirt road. The area was swept and they found footprints that matched Wells' footwear and the tire tracks of his Geo Metro. The area offered no clues as to how he had been lured there or what exactly happened when he arrived. But one thing is clear. It's during this time that Wells was outfitted with the collar bomb, because 20 minutes later, at roughly 2:20 p.m., Wells walked into the PNC Bank wearing the collar bomb. The bank was about 2 miles back up Peach Street, and
Imagine you have a fucking bomb on your neck. You can't take it off. You call the cops, nigga. They don't even know how to take it off. They scared to even get around you. That shit is scary, bro. Nigga, we need a bomb squad number, so I don't even gotta waste my time with the cops. I need a bomb squad number.
Wells was wearing a t-shirt with the word guess across the chest, a shirt he was not wearing before, and a shirt that relatives say was not his.
Like the brand?
No, the word, it was written on the shirt, guess.
Oh, strange. My family, they don't know what shirts I have. I've got some I barely ever wear.
Yeah, that's true. I got shirts in there I haven't worn for years. Maybe we could do a little spring cleaning together.
Yeah,
No, that's
I
what
mean,
we
we
need
live
to
in
do.
separate...
Bro, why they showing these niggas, bro? Like,
This weekend?
Sure, fun little Saturday.
Wells was instructed to, quote, go to the bank quietly.
what's the fucking point of that? Niggas just ask him on a date, basically.
Sure, fun little Saturday.
Wells was instructed
I
to,
think-
quote, go to the bank quietly. Enter with the weapon you were given. Avoid panicking the tellers or customers. Use the weapon if anyone does not cooperate or attempts to leave the bank, end quote. John Seckel, a witness at the bank robbery, saw Wells walk into the bank with a shotgun disguised as a cane and what appeared to be a shoebox under his
A shotgun disguised as a cane? That is lethal. Look at that. Nigga, that's nasty. Whoever gave you that is a bad man. You could act like an old man, turn around, shotty. That's actually clean. I'm not condoning that at all. But I'm just saying that's like this itself. That's fine. Like that is fine, bro. If I was like a spy or some shit, nigga, I'm having these.
shirt. The bomb was already around Wells's neck at this point.
How do they expect this man not to scare anyone?
It was a cane. It looks like a cane.
I don't care how hard you try to disguise a shotgun as a cane.
He was kind of in an unwinnable situation because he
Right.
has this bomb.
Yeah.
And he has a shirt that has the word guess across it. So already he's drawing some weird looks.
Wells gave a bank teller a white envelope and spoke in a low voice. Wells's note to the bank teller said, quote, gather employees with access codes to vault and work fast to fill bag with $250,000. You have only 15 minutes, end quote. He then lifted his shirt and showed the teller his bomb, which the note confirmed. At one point, the teller yelled, Audrey, the code for a robbery.
Hey, that's a pretty good code word.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Because also you don't want that code word to spook everyone. So if you're sitting in a bank, waiting in line, and you see one of the tellers go, oh, Audrey? You go, oh, they're just, calling
I'm
for
pretty
Audrey.
sure that if I was
But if the banker goes, peacock's nest!
One teller whispered to a customer to leave, and a group of people began to exit. The teller told Wells that there was no way to enter the vault at that time, and was only able to hand over $8,702. Seckel said about Wells, quote, we walked right past him. He didn't bat an eye, end quote. Seckel said that Wells didn't appear scared or cocky. He was actually calm. Wells left a sealed note for the police along with his driver's license with the teller as he was told to do. A woman with a cell phone called 911, and about 3 minutes later, Wells walked out of the bank sucking on a dum-dum he took from the bank counter.
Pretty fucking baller.
took off in his car.
Who knows what state of mind he's in if he's like, oh, this is it.
I
Only
think-
got 8K.
I think it's fair to
Going
say.
out with a dum-dum in my gullet, baby.
I'm gonna imagine it would be pretty hard for me to remain calm during this situation.
You only
I'd
got
at least be
8,000.
Yeah,
That's
but to
tough.
be just cool as a cucumber.
It's pretty impressive.
Impressive or suspicious is probably the better word.
Police would later find pages of instructions in Wells's car. The first note read, quote, exit the bank with the money and go to the McDonald's restaurant. Get out of the car and go to the small sign reading drive-thru / open 24 hours in the flower bed. By the sign, there is a rock with a note taped to the bottom. It has your next instructions, end quote.
If you want someone to go to an inconspicuous location, don't go to a McDonald's flower bed.
That's true.
You loiter around a drive-through, people start yelling at you.
Also, I
Not
mean,
that I've done that, but
it's also
Why
like
is that?
very obvious to have a grown man rummaging through a flower
with
bed.
a giant collar,
With a giant collar.
digging through the flower bed at a
He
McDonald's.
was asking for witnesses. Then again, he's only incriminating himself.
Yeah, I guess.
At the McDonald's, Wells collected a 2-page note that directed him to go up Peach Street to a wooded area several miles away. Shortly after, Wells was stopped by state troopers and handcuffed while he told them about the bomb. The troopers left him sitting on the ground shouting for help. They called the bomb squad as soon as they visually confirmed the device around his neck and the red.
So the cops stopped him on his second route to part 2. So they didn't think the cops were gonna get on this nigga, him going to a McDonald's after robbing a bank. Like what the?
Rest is history. The notes directing Wells said, quote, "This powerful booby-trapped bomb can be removed only by following our instructions. Act now, think later, or you will die," end quote. Wells was warned that he would be watched by sentries, and that, quote, "If anyone follows or interferes, we may leave and allow timer to detonate or call cell phone detonator," end quote. If Wells did as he was instructed, which included driving around the city to gather passwords, clues, and keys that would disarm the bomb, Wells would end up with a combination to free himself from the bomb. However, it seemed based off of the instructions that Brian Wells never stood a chance. The plot assumed that he would be able to rob a bank of $250,000 and drive around in a Geo Metro with a collar bomb without interference from the police.
So he was kind of doomed from the start here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seems like the deck is kind of stacked against him.
Yeah,
What I think they
100%.
wanted to
That
do
nigga
was they
was
wanted
cooked.
him to go to the next point, make the handoff with the money,
Yeah.
continue the scavenger hunt, and then they get rid of a loose end because the bomb goes off.
What's wrong with these people?
They're criminals, man.
Cops tried completing the hunt themselves hours after Wells had died, bouncing from clue to clue until eventually one of the clue locations came up empty. It seemed that whoever was executing this plan had called it off once the police interfered. One thing to note is that the instructions contained words like "we" and "us," making it appear that there were multiple conspirators. So now, let's get into the suspects.
Hell yeah.
Any one of these suspects could be part of the gang that carried out this crime.
I see, yes.
So one, maybe two, maybe more than that, may be responsible. But I will say at the end of this, at least one of these people was responsible.
Oh boy.
So for once, we will have some bit of closure.
Stick around. You got it, good hook.
The first suspect is William A. Rothstein. Rothstein was a 6'6" hoarder who only wore dungarees and chest pouches filled with pens and
6'6"
notebooks. He
hoarder.
spoke multiple languages. Was
Nigga,
an
you need to be a boarder. Get your ass in the league. The fuck? 2000, nah. You could have been a shooter. Cause nah, it's not, you wouldn't have been playing in 2003. You'd have been playing in this fucking 70s, 60s. Nigga, you could have been hooping, bro. That's on you, bro. Niggas was bots back then.
engineer and a high school shop or introductory mechanics teacher. Less than a month after the collar bomb incident, Rothstein called the police and told the dispatcher, quote, "At 8645 Peach Street in the garage, there is a frozen body. It's in the freezer," end quote. The address was Rothstein's home, and he claimed the body was there because he was storing it as a, quote, "favor for a friend," end quote.
Big favor.
Big
That's
favor.
a big ask.
Yeah, I don't think I could call any of my friends and be like, hey, man,
Remember that time they helped you move that couch?
yeah.
Gonna call one in.
This is kind of like that, except instead of a couch, it's a dead person.
Yeah.
The friend in question was a woman named Marjorie Deal Armstrong. The body was 45-year-old James Roden, who was killed.
Like, this video is so good, but them going in and out, that shit not it, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that shit, it's just not my type of comedy, I guess.
Deal Armstrong. The body was 45-year-old James Roden, who was killed by his then-girlfriend Marjorie by shotgun blast while he was sleeping in her bedroom. This occurred on August 13th, about 6 weeks before Roden's body was reported.
Hold on,
This
wait,
occurred-
wait,
his then-girl
what?
Armstrong.
It's a dead person.
Yeah.
The friend in question was a woman named Marjorie Deal Armstrong. The body was 45-year-old James Roden, who was killed by his then-girlfriend Marjorie by shotgun blast while he was sleeping in her bedroom. This occurred on August 13th, about 6 weeks before Roden's body was reported. Rothstein had twice been engaged to Deal Armstrong, so given their history, he agreed to get rid of Marjorie's shotgun and store the body, but stated that he called the police once Marjorie suggested that Rothstein put the rest of Roden's body in an ice grinder.
Too much. Yep.
She stepped over the line, man. Either way, I love that this guy has this odd moral compass where it comes to like hiding the body's fine.
Like, exactly. Like, how is hiding the body fine, but then when she want to dispose of it, it's out. Nope, calling the cops.
The next step is chopping the body up. He can't do that.
I imagine her talking to him on the phone and just suggesting, like, while we're on the horn here, do you mind taking that body and putting it through the ice grinder? Then just a beat of silence, and he just kind of sighs.
And she knows she's gone too
like,
far.
oh shit.
Fuck, that was one.
Wow, what was I thinking?
Yeah, one too many.
jig is
Damn
up.
it, Marjorie.
He was placed in custody hours later. He agreed to testify against Marjorie for immunity. He told the police that he had been feeling incredibly guilty and at one point was considering suicide. Police found a suicide note in a desk at his home. Interestingly, the note started with, quote, "This has nothing to do with the Wells case," end quote, which truly is an odd thing to say, because from an outside perspective, it has no apparent relation.
My friend went to New Orleans recently, and she was like, oh, I'd love to buy a house here.
Yeah.
And one of the signs said for sale, and under that sign was a big red sign that said, not haunted.
Oh, that house is, I don't believe in ghosts, but I believe that house is haunted.
Bro, all these...
As weird to me as saying,
Oh,
this
it's
has
throwing me
nothing to
off.
do with this case that has nothing to do with this. Don't look into it at all.
The only link between Rothstein and Brian Wells seemed to be a coincidence. Rothstein's house was one of the only houses in the vicinity of Brian Wells' last pizza delivery in the woods. Rothstein's house was a mere 5-minute walk away. Additionally, the phone call that placed the order.
Walk? 5-minute walk is close as hell. I think he finna say a 5-minute ride. 5-minute walk is close.
Of pizzas was traced to a payphone on 8228 Peach Street at a Shell garage, only a half-mile away from Rothstein's home. Lorraine Blodgett, the manager of the convenience store at the Shell garage, stated Rothstein would often come in. Quote, "He'd come in to buy newspapers and cookies. He'd sit outside in his car and have brunch, read the paper."
It's that
end
nigga,
quote.
bro.
Rothstein also used to make calls from the payphone. When you combine these circumstantial details with the fact that Rothstein brought up the Wells case unprovoked, it is undoubtedly suspicious and brings to the forefront Rothstein's mechanical prowess. Police searched his home and found power tools, welders, and quote, "piles of old machinery," end quote. One NPR article states that Rothstein, quote, "had the mechanical know-how to build the ingenious bomb that killed Wells," end quote. The collar was made up of, quote, "a triple-bended metal..."
He's spamming the word quote. Oh my gosh. Why is that? Why? I don't know why that's bothering me. Like, damn. Yeah, he's spamming it.
Collar with 4 keyholes and a 3-digit combination lock, and an iron box containing 2 6-inch pipe bombs loaded with double base smokeless powder. The hinged collar locked around Wells's neck like a giant handcuff, end quote. Investigators were able to tell that the device had been made using professional tools. In 2007, a Pennsylvania grand jury agreed that Rothstein had dumped over 1,000 pounds of evidence at a local landfill. But even if Rothstein did make the bomb, he didn't quite fit the profile of the mastermind of such a cruel operation. And thus, we discuss Marjorie Deal Armstrong, our second suspect. After Rothstein tipped off the police to the murder of James Roden, police entered Marjorie's home, which was a mess of dog feces, clothes, and fast food cartons. The police had to wear toxic hazard suits.
I hate all of this story, Ryan. The filth here is making my skin crawl.
This is the woman who had him store a body for her murdered boyfriend.
She must have been real pretty.
Or devious.
I mean, why are you 2 times proposing to a woman whose house is full of dog shit?
Maybe she just had a hook on him, you know? You just can't let go.
Every time he'd go out for a walk and smell a little dog shit, he'd be like, ah, Marjorie.
Marjorie. The aroma.
The aroma of Marjorie.
Marjorie already had a reputation in Erie and had killed before. She admitted to having shot her boyfriend Robert Thomas in 1984, but she was acquitted because she stated that she was a victim of domestic abuse. Her first husband hung himself, and her second died after hitting his head at home on a coffee table.
I mean, she's obviously an
hell
evil
no.
person, but just to live a life that's so fraught with chaos sounds stressful.
But also, this person needs to be eradicated from the rest of normal society.
We should separate her.
Yeah, for sure. We should put her over there.
Find a spot for her where she can no longer get married to people.
Yeah, because it's obviously a fatal thing.
According to her former high school classmates, she was known for her intelligence, but over the years, it mingled with madness. She suffered from multiple mental illnesses, including bipolar disorder, paranoia, and narcissism. Her moods would swing, and she seemed unable to stop her rapid-fire speech. The local DA, Brad Falk, who had also attended school with Marjorie, described Marjorie as, quote, one of those folks that thinks she's smarter and slicker and brighter than everybody else, and that at the end of the day, she believes she'll win, or she'll prevail on anything that she does. It's the way she's been for 40 years, end quote. She seemed like the type that would make a bank heist more complicated than it needed to be, and she also seemed to be the type that would need to brag about her genius plan. The FBI made a profile of the collar bomber based on behavioral analysis. The collar bomber was profiled as a hoarder, comfortable with shop machines and power tools. The collar bomber also had access to work with these tools alone and took pride in their creations with dual purposes: a collar and a bomb, and a cane and a shotgun. They had a violent past and a superiority complex. This profile fit the combination of Rothstein and Dale Armstrong. She had a complex, a violent past, and he had shop skills. Though we aren't done
they probably work together
with Dale Armstrong, I'll now introduce our third suspect, a man named Kenneth Barnes. A witness came forward in 2005 that said Kenneth Barnes was involved. He was a former TV repairman turned crack dealer. Earlier in 2007, 27-year-old sex worker Jessica Hoopsick came forward saying she knew Brian Wells and had, quote, turned tricks, end quote, with him at the home of Kenneth Barnes. Hoopsick had left a message on Brian's answering machine and was a link between Brian and Dale Armstrong. It turned out that Kenneth E. Barnes, who would supply Hoopsick with drugs, used to go fishing with Marjorie Dale Armstrong.
Hence, connecting Barnes, Brian, and now Armstrong. So, he knew these people.
What a town.
Barnes had spoken too freely about the collar bomb plan, and his brother-in-law turned him in while Barnes was already in jail for unrelated drug charges. Barnes and Dale Armstrong had also been seen driving the wrong way on the highway near one of the locations of the search. Barnes said he would exchange information for a reduced sentence. Barnes also confirmed the FBI's belief that Dale Armstrong was the mastermind. He stated that Dale Armstrong needed the money because she wanted to pay Barnes to kill her father, who she believed was blowing through his fortune, which was money she expected to inherit. Barnes claimed that he was kept in the dark about most of the plan, but he had already corroborated.
What? She wanted to kill her dad for blowing inherited money? She thought, at least she thought that he was blowing. He probably wasn't even blowing. But she is so greedy. So she wanted to kill a nigga to get more money to kill another nigga. Like, are you dead? Not even another nigga, your dad.
With much of what the FBI had already heard. Other than Barnes, investigators had previously spent weeks with informants who said that Dale Armstrong talked about plans of the bomb in intimate detail. A fellow inmate of Dale Armstrong told authorities that Dale Armstrong had admitted to killing her boyfriend James Roden because he was going to expose the bomb plot. The FBI met with Dale Armstrong while she was serving time for the murder of James Roden. Dale Armstrong promised to tell them everything if they would transfer her from Muncie State Penitentiary to Cambridge Springs, a minimum security prison closer to Erie. Dale Armstrong insisted to the FBI that she had nothing to do with the collar bomb plot, but she did supply the kitchen timers used for the bomb and was within a mile of the bank robbery when it happened. She agreed to drive around Erie with the agents and show them where she had been that day, linking her to several locations of the crime. Marjorie also admitted to the FBI that on the day Brian died, she had gone to the Shell station with her Jeep and bought $10 of gas. Rothstein and Barnes were also with her. Rothstein had used the payphone before Wells died, implying that Rothstein made the phone call to the pizzeria. She then claimed she would provide no further information without immunity, but she had already given away too much information. The FBI informed Diehl Armstrong that they had enough information to indict her.
Frankly, this is stressful, Ryan.
It's very stressful. So she gave him all these details. I was like, I'm not going to tell you anymore unless I get immunity. And they're like, you've told us
everything,
enough to indict you, you know.
Yeah.
So she
Talking about immunity.
effectively put herself behind bars,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny.
She claimed that Rothstein planned the whole thing, and more importantly, that Wells was in on the heist, which brings us to our fourth and final suspect, Brian Wells.
Now that is surprising. Why would this man be in on it himself?
Well, what
Probably
I'm about
got
to break
finesse.
down may make you a little upset.
It's been a very upsetting day, Ryan.
Yes, it has been.
Let's hear more.
All right.
When looking at the known details of the timeline, two things come off as suspicious on the part of Wells. First, that Wells's demeanor was so calm during the robbery. And second, that it seems there was no evidence to back up Wells's story that he was attacked by a group of black men who locked him in the collar at gunpoint.
Yeah, that's what
Wells's
that's what I'm saying. That nigga said black. Gotta be okay. That's for sure racist now. Now that's for sure racist. I gave you a pass at first, nigga. That's for sure racist.
Throughout the situation troubled the police, who were never quite able to rule him out as a conspirator in his own death. In 2007, District Attorney Mary Beth Buchanan stated that she believes Wells was in on the plot along with Rothstein, Barnes, and Diehl Armstrong, who was the mastermind. The DA also believes that Diehl Armstrong and Barnes had planned on taking the money from Brian as soon as he had robbed the bank, but fled when they saw the cops and left Brian for dead. Because Wells allegedly never had a chance in his doomed scavenger hunt, DA Buchanan believes that Brian was part of the operation and given a collar bomb for an alibi. The collar would also ensure that Brian would stick to the plan, hand over the money, and if things went downhill, quote, he would not survive to be a witness against the other conspirators, end quote. Kenneth Barnes also claimed that Wells had been talking about the robbery about a month before it happened. According to the FBI affidavit, another witness had corroborated this. In July 2007, DA Buchanan announced the investigation was over, stating that Diehl Armstrong and Barnes were charged with carrying out the crime. The indictment also stated that Rothstein and Wells were conspirators. Based on information gathered over 4 years of over 1,000 interviews, Wells was charged with being in on the scheme from the beginning. In interviews, Wells was charged.
He's charged, bro. That nigga's fucking dead. How's he charged? Like bro, niggas say anything, bro.
With being in on the scheme from the
Niggas say
beginning.
anything.
Kenneth Barnes claims Wells was willing to help with the promise of money because he was in an expensive relationship with sex worker Jessica Hoopsick. According to the indictment completed in 2007, Wells thought the bomb was fake, and so he agreed to wear it. He was told it was meant to fool the cops. If he was caught, he could blame the threatening instructions. Barnes claims Wells only realized when he delivered the pizzas to the TV transmission tower that the bomb was real, and he was locked into the device at gunpoint when he tried to run away.
Why didn't he just assume it was fake still?
He was thinking probably of some cartoonish looking bomb. He gets there, it's professionally made. And he realizes, holy shit, this actually may be a real bomb. Maybe he even said something like, hey, that bomb looks pretty real, guys. And they all kind of didn't laugh when he started chuckling. He's like, uh-oh.
I guess you get what you pay for. If you're
How did he
hanging
find out it
with
was
people
real?
who all agree that maybe it's a good idea for you to wear a fake bomb and rob a bank, you can't be outraged when they put a real one on you.
District Attorney Buchanan said that over time, Wells had changed from a co-conspirator to an unwilling participant. Wells was double-crossed. To make things more confusing, a week later, the FBI concluded that the whole plot was a hoax. They believed that the bomb would have gone off if anyone had tried to remove it, and Wells would have died no matter what. Jim Fisher, a retired FBI agent, believes that Wells's death was part of the plan.
So if they
Quote,
so if they cut the wires, it'll go off. Like have that happened before? I don't know.
it was a first-degree murder. This was an intentional premeditated homicide. Moreover, it was extremely cruel in the way the crime was executed, end quote. Despite the debate, Wells's family firmly believes that he was a victim. As Buchanan completed her statement of the investigation, one of Wells's sisters continuously yelled, "Liar." The official aftermath unfolded as follows. In February 2011, Marjorie Deal Armstrong was sentenced to life in prison plus
Imagine
30
Will's
years
family.
for her role in the heist. Deal Armstrong
she
claimed
got
on her
charged with
first day on the stand that she never knew Brian Wells and had never heard of him until he was on the news. Deal Armstrong claimed that she is not the killer and that they are still out there. Deal Armstrong died on April 4th, 2017 of natural causes in a Texas prison. Kenneth Barnes was sentenced in 2008 for, quote, conspiracy to commit armed bank robbery, using and carrying a firearm during a crime of violence, end quote. Barnes's 45-year sentence was reduced to 20 because he cooperated with authorities and admitted involvement. He's expected to be released in 2027.
That nigga
William
out
Rothstein died of terminal cancer in the summer of 2004 before facing any charges. For
the
what it's
next
worth,
year?
retired FBI agent and criminal justice professor Jim Fisher believes that Rothstein was the true mastermind.
The next year bro, what if he would have died earlier? It probably never would have happened. The nigga died a year earlier.
Quote, the son of a bitch ended up winning. He died with all of the secrets. He died taking all the answers with him. He gets the last laugh in that sense. He escaped punishment. He escaped detection, end quote. And finally, Brian Wells, whose supposed involvement is what classifies this case as a cold case for many. Despite the official conclusion that Wells had been a part of the plan, many point out evidence against this idea, such as the fact that he let people at the bank leave during the robbery, and the note he left with the teller easily led the police to him. But some prosecutors say that was intentional. Wells's family and friends say he was, quote, 100% innocent, end quote, and there was no way he could have been involved.
Bro.
Others say Wells started out as a willing participant,
but
was double-crossed and became a victim. It appears clear that Deal Armstrong, Rothstein, and Barnes were all involved to some extent, but whether or not Brian Wells' involvement goes beyond simply delivering a pizza at the wrong time remains murky. Although the official ruling is that Wells was in fact a participant in at least the heist, there are many who still classify his role in this heist as unsolved.
I think that's unsolved. I feel like there's probably one or two more people in on it. But for sure, them three niggas, or at least two of them three, is guaranteed in on it. Let me know something at that down below. On 25,000, man. I'm out this bitch, Crime Dotty, every day, 8 p.m. Eastern time.